online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Welcome, everybody, to our final AfterBuzz TV episode for this season of Intruders. This is Season 1, Episode 8, There Is No End. I am your host, Anna Koppel, and next to me is Miss Marisa Serafini.
Hello, everyone.
Across from me, Lenk.
Hello.
Isaac Johnson.
Hey, everyone.
And we are very pleased to announce a very special guest. You know her as Madison, you know her as Marcus. In studio, the very talented Millie Brown.
Hi.
We are so thrilled to have you here. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for letting me be here. I'm so excited.
Of course.
After watching this whole season and now talking to you and hearing your real voice, you do such a good job with the American accent. Like, I was totally thrown when I first heard you speak.
Thank you.
And Glenn Morgan, creator of the show, had warned us ahead of time. You know, not warned is the wrong word, but, but he had let us know. He told a very charming story about you, but it's still like, who is this little person?
By the way, she probably knows him as Glenn at this point. Like, to us, he's Glenn Morgan.
Maybe the audience. I was.
Oh, okay.
You know, just there might be other people involved in this. So.
Was that something that you just real quick, because I'm so curious, is that something you had to work on a while to get down the accent, or did you pick it up pretty quickly?
I mean, I watch Disney Channel a lot, so I kind of the Valley Girl accent, but like, oh my god! But then I started to take it more seriously, so I guess I caught it quite quickly.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds exactly like me with the Valley Girl.
Yeah, I was from the Valley. Yeah.
I'm not ashamed. It's okay. Yeah, I grew up here. We have so much to get into, so just really quick, I want to give a shout out to everybody who's been commenting on iTunes and YouTube. We so appreciate all of the support you've been giving us on Twitter and everything. We would love for you to keep it up. And, you know, Intruders, this is the final episode, but there's so many shows that we have every week, 80 shows. So, you know, check out our other shows, tell a friend. And again, just thank you so much for your support throughout the whole season. So right into it. We're back at the building, 999. I didn't notice the address before.
Yeah, 999 East 3rd Street.
I feel like they kept the address for a while, but I had a feeling there'd be some nines in it. That was just
at least one.
They had to.
Jack calls 911 for his dear friend Gary, who's just hurled himself off the building. And, you know, of course, we don't find out till later, but Detective Ron Blanchard overhears the call. So that will come into play. He gets into the building, and I'm shocked. I thought Todd Crane for sure was dead. For sure he was a goner, because Madison got him pretty good, right?
Yeah, right in the leg.
The femoral artery.
Yeah, there it's in. It burst out with blood.
Yeah.
Sounds
good aim. Good aim, definitely.
Yeah, I feel like Marcus has had plenty of experience with all of the
training.
Right. Mm-hmm. So he's still alive. I'm surprised.
I'm not surprised. I'd like to say I predicted it, but
Yeah, I this side of the table, at least.
Yeah, exactly. We were all over it.
They were still.
Although that was the femoral artery, you predicted that, I guess. So.
I just watch a lot of Law and Order SVU, so I just know.
Sure. But good on Jack for helping him after literally just beating him up the day before.
Yeah, I know. What a mixed message to send him.
Whoa. Not good on Jack. Good on Todd Crane for giving Jack the keys.
True.
I feel.
Yeah, that's true.
A redemptive moment for Todd Crane, perhaps.
It was really kind of him, I feel, to give Jack the keys. And when Glenn was here, he said, pay attention. That guy came from the mailboxes.
Right.
Yeah. Those were keys to the mailboxes.
To the door.
To the
Secret passage.
Yeah. Seriously.
Well, it is. When they went down there, it was such like a creepy labyrinth of
Yeah.
just staircases and corridors, and you're lurking in the shadows there.
Yeah. Well, that was actually that same building, but just in the basement, which was like, and they put tons of luggage everywhere, so it looked so dark and when they turned off the lights, I was like, oh God, I'm so scared.
So everything was actually there.
Yeah, everything was there.
wow.
I mean, and the camera was like right in front of my eyes. So when I looked, I was like this, and I was like, "Can I go to Crafty now? Can I go get some lunch now?" But so it was in broad daylight as well, which is
Oh, cool.
yeah.
That was a very creepy shot of you behind the tarp, though.
I know, but I didn't even see it. So when I see it, I'm like, "Oh my God, that's so creepy."
Yeah, I didn't recognize you. I was like, was that her, or was that just some other ghost child? I wasn't
Some
100% sure
other
at first.
9-year-old killer.
Well, I don't
There
know.
are a lot
This
of
is
those. A lot of those going around in Seattle.
I know.
It's a crazy group, you know.
Just-
It is, yeah.
Sweet kids.
But so as Marcus is walking down, because now we know for sure this is Marcus has taken over. So Marcus is walking down the corridor and having all of these like intense flashbacks, right? Of his death, being sealed in that wall, and so we'd sort of seen flashes of this.
Yeah, we saw flashes of him being buried with the bricks before.
Right, and
Yeah, but now we actually know who was there burying him.
Get the full story. Yeah.
Yeah.
and were there did I make this up, or were there rats involved in the past?
I didn't see.
When Karen had a rat.
Okay.
Just
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
Interesting.
in episode 3, actually.
Yeah. The other person you killed.
I'm just saying, rats are very common in this.
And they're in the basement.
Perhaps it's just a sanitation issue on set.
Maybe. Who knows?
They get some pet control down there. But did you notice when they were burying, there were 9 people there present at the burial of Marcus Fox. 3 people: Rose Gilchrist, Charles Muhammad Broad, and the Howard Charles, and 6 other shepherds. So together, 9 people.
Okay. I wonder if that's every ceremony, every reverte ceremony needs 9 people there. Needs the 9. Those are the 9.
Makes sense.
That wasn't very ceremonial, though. I
Well-
mean, they didn't wrap him up like mummified him. That
Well,
was
Marcus didn't deserve it. Marcus, they wanted to lie. They said, what was the thing? Said you're one of the few to never come back. So Marcus is going to be one of the few to never come back.
No, but Marcus did deserve it. He totally deserved it. He deserved that.
Well, he deserved that. He didn't deserve a ceremony. He didn't deserve
Right.
the quaint, nice reverte
I know.
ceremony.
He just be buried. And
Just throw him back there. Yeah.
Seal him behind a wall. I'm gonna have nightmares about that. It's just an awful.
But he's so good, isn't he?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow,
he's
he's
great.
He's so creepy, but he's so nice. At the rap party, he was dancing, and he was just. He's nice. He's good.
What? Let's jump ahead a little bit to that scene that you had with him was so powerful, and
Oh, yeah.
so what was it like? And tell us a little bit about like your relationship with him, and did he give you any sort of advice about? Because we've talked about how you'll like hike up your pant legs before you sit down and stuff. Like, did he give you sort of one-on-one advice about this is how I would carry myself, or this is how I would do this, or
Well, actually, I had body training, and he was there, and he'd touch his neck, and he'd look at people, and even when he got up, he had to lay down and get up and walk around, and I'd just have to walk around next to him and just look at everything he's doing. But the idea of when I pulled up my trousers was when me and my dad was at home, and he sat down and he pulled his trousers on. I was like, that sounds quite interesting. I was like, I'm gonna try that.
Nice body training. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Will, by the way, trousers are pants, in case you
That I
Yes,
know the
I'm so
lingo.
sorry.
I
they
know
say.
the lingo. I am.
you had a confused look on your face.
I am a worldly man.
Okay,
I know the
yeah.
lingo.
All
Of
right.
course.
And the actor, Alex.
Diakin? It's
yeah,
something like that. I'm probably not pronouncing it right, but that's how it's spelled.
But he'll forgive us. I think.
Yeah, Alex.
Um, you have said he's very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
He is so nice, and he's like when he comes off set, he got me a present once for my birthday because I was on set, and I was doing schoolwork, and he came over to me with this cigar box, and I was like, oh God. I was like, I'm really scared. So I opened it, and it was a sand dollar, and I was like, I'm gonna keep this, and that was
wow.
cool.
How sweet.
Yeah, and that's a really meaningful gift.
I know. I was like, this is a souvenir.
For sure. So while all of that's going on, Jack is also on his own exploration. Back at the building, in case you didn't know where I was going with this, guys. Yeah. And Jack discovers this room, this huge library full of these death books, life books. Well, I don't know.
The reverte
the
literature.
books.
Yeah.
That every time you get re-shepherded back, you get your book, and that's where all of them are archived after they're dead again.
And we learned about quite a few famous people that I guess have been
I loved the reference to Ronald Reagan.
I knew it. I knew he was reverted.
Tesla.
Tesla. Yeah.
There's I don't know. I was reading up on. There's all of this like Ronald Reagan Illuminati conspiracy theory stuff. It's great.
It was a nice one.
I feel like you could really go down an internet rabbit hole with that.
Yeah, my brother is crazy about it. He's like, if you go on a dollar bill, and he's so interested by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Watch out.
I was wondering if you could maybe shed some, because we've had so much debate here on this panel about whether or not there was a book written for Marcus Fox, because at some point Richard goes and finds Mrs. Ng, and she said that there wasn't a book written. So was there or wasn't there a book written? Do you know? Or
I have no clue, to be honest. You should ask Glenn next time you see him, if you do. I watch the show, but I'm still 10, so I don't really take in like everything they say. But I mean, I think there wasn't a book about. I think it was a book about me being like guided by Marcus and going to the number 9 building and train station and everything like that. I think that was what it was like written for me to be guided. I probably just rambling on about nothing I don't know, but I don't know. But
no,
I'm guessing.
That's been. You said you've watched our panels before. That's been all of our panels.
Yeah,
that's rambling on about we don't know.
We throw out every theory possible.
Maybe this, maybe that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, I have a question. So Glenn, when he was here, said that like he didn't know where you understood like how to play like some of these like really dark like themes at being 10. So like how do you know what some of that stuff is? Or
I mean, I guess it's just like comes naturally. Like I watch.
Careful, Will.
I know. I thought I wasn't supposed to be afraid.
It's my instinct.
Okay.
No, I guess like me, like when I say like Mohammed Brad and 6 shepherds came and got me, they buried me and they buried me alive. I think that was just like by instinct. I shout and I pull these faces, and I think I just think about it before I do it, and then when I do it, it looks good, and I'm like, oh, that looks quite good. But I'm gonna change that, and then I come back, and then because the director Ed and Daniel, they always told me, oh, I don't think that we should do that. I think we should do that, and oh, I like that, but maybe we should tweak it like this. And I think that helped a lot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool.
Well, Jack also discovers a room full of triggers.
Yeah.
Which he destroys.
Again, he's got major anger issues.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's not even like, let's investigate this first. No, it's like, let's smash everything. And he did it with such glee. Like, you're not coming back. You're not coming back. I kind of love that Jack has these like these moments where he just is unleashed like that.
So does that make my prediction correct? If you destroy the triggers, will they come back?
Well, I guess you don't have the trigger to show to them, so they can't come back.
Plus, we don't have the bodies that have already been shepherded back.
We
you
don't
destroy
know where
the
they
triggers.
Yeah, I mean, all of those bodies that were being kept down there have been incinerated. Yeah. So I don't know if it's like.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the shepherds go.
The theory is there.
The shepherds from when they look and all the books are all the books are on fire. They're the triggers, and then they go and they take it and then they trigger them. So I mean that's where they get them from. So he's like screw like it's just it's just.
Yeah. Well, it seems like he's become, I don't know, I guess a believer in this at this point since he's destroying the triggers. Like he's been so resistant to accept it, and now it seems like he accepts it. And I mean, of course he's angry. His life has been upset, and he just saw his best friend jump off a building. He's pretty angry at all of it.
Yeah, he's been through a lot.
Yeah.
So in the middle of doing this, he hears some sort of clanking going on.
Yeah.
And goes and discovers this little girl, right? And they have quite the face-off. But I'm so happy to see.
Yeah, I've been waiting for those two to have a scene together.
Yeah, because when oh no, that's before, after. So yeah. But when we meet, it's like everybody's on Twitter, like, oh my God, they've actually seen each other, and I guess it's just a moment of truth, and we have a conversation where it's just like, oh my goodness, like we're talking about crazy stuff. But
Was that the first time that you met John Sim, or did you meet him before?
Oh my goodness, no. We had the read-throughs together, and we had we always saw each other on set, because when I was doing a scene, he was getting dressed and going to hair and makeup, and then when I'd leave, he'd be doing a scene. So we'd always meet each other, but I guess it was cool. You
and John Sim had such chemistry together, and it just worked. You just worked so well together, and that's chemistry, I guess.
That is the definition. Yeah.
So, what did you two do to prepare before?
Well, in the makeup trailer, we was practicing our lines, and me working with John was such an amazing experience, because I haven't, all I've been really having conversations with and having scenes with was the people, I killed.
Your victims.
That's a good one. Victims.
They're
my victims. And but me having the scene with John was just like we rehearsed with it, and we'd talk about what we could do with it, and the directors helped obviously because they was directing us and seeing what I could do, and when I had the hammer and stuff. So
yeah, that's probably easily my favorite scene that you've had on the show. I mean, you've had a lot of great ones and a lot of scary ones, but I really like just seeing. I mean, I don't know. I'm a big fan of acting, so it's just seeing you guys talk back and forth there, and this is one. It finally came together, and then also I thought you guys just did a great job with the scene.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There was
sorry.
No.
What was your filming schedule like, you personally? Because I know you are still a minor, so and I can't imagine you're being there every single day, all day, like a normal adult would.
Oh,
but
no.
you had a lot of scenes.
They were great. I mean, the crew was just like, okay, now we have to get her offset by this time, and they were really good with that. So I'd come in maybe at 10, and I'd always have 9 hours and not over 9 hours at all, and and then but my hours were pretty great. I mean, I didn't do late hours, I didn't do early hours. I just done it and also if they did do something, it'd be 10 to 1, and I'd go back home and then come back in at 3, and then so that I could do that. But my hours were pretty great. I mean, the lake scene was at 6. At 6 o'clock, and I'm not an early bird. That's what you should know about me.
Okay.
I wake up and I'm like a walking zombie. I'm like,
Very neat.
There was a moment in that scene with you and Jack where he recognizes you as Madison, and then you as Marcus is like, no, we push that little girl out of here. But there's something about the way you deliver that Marcus doesn't really believe that. Marcus, I think, knows that he's struggling more and more, which I really love that moment, that he's that Madison still is there and still is strong. And I guess I was curious, because there have been so many great scenes where you've kind of switched back and forth between the two. Are you able to jump back and forth between Marcus and Madison easily, or is it something you kind of have to take a minute and think about it?
I don't think so, because if it was it's an innocent girl and then there's a ruthless old man, so I think it's quite easy to jump back and forth. If it was an innocent girl and then a mean girl, it'd be probably harder, but just for me to turn into a girl to a man, it's just quite...
There's such extremes that it's...
it's so far from each other, then it's quite easy.
I love she's saying this like, it's easy. It's a little girl, ruthless old man, whatever. Yeah.
Easy for you, maybe. I don't know if we could pull it off.
Yeah. I couldn't, certainly.
Maybe a ruthless young man. I think that you could do that.
We'll see.
Maybe, I don't know.
Try it on later.
But to have
Give me
that
benefit of
talent
doubt.
at your age, that's amazing.
Thank you.
I can't imagine what your career is going to be like in 30 years from now. It's going to be stellar.
Yeah. Is this something you see as like a long-term thing? You want to just keep acting?
Oh yeah, I want to keep acting till whenever I don't want to do it, and my parents are very, very supportive about that, because they're like, they always tell people that if I ever stop acting, that's fine. I'm fine with that. If you don't want to do it, if you want to do it, let's do it. Let's go on auditions and let's, So I think I will always do acting and always be part of the industry. Maybe I take a year off and do producing when I'm 27. Who knows?
In
Yeah.
a long time from now.
A long time from now. A long time from now. But for now, I'm just gonna stay 10-year-old.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's great.
that's very grounded of you. That's very grounded.
Now, Glenn told us about your audition and sending in like the iPhone thing. How did you hear about the role and decide that, I want to be, I guess, a killer?
Well, I knew it was like not the average role. So when they got me the script, and I was like, oh my, because it was the Ava Verum Corpus script, Ave Verum Corpus.
Right.
When I had to say all that Latin, and I was like, oh my, I've never read a script like this before, and I knew it was going to be something completely different from the average girl. So I went in and I done the videotape with this amazing acting coach and film taper. His name's David Kaufman, and he taped me, and I was like, I got these glasses.
Yeah.
They were bug-eyed, right? So, and I took them off when I came in, and he was like, no, pick them back up. And when I done the train scene, I go like that.
Right.
So the audition process went quite, I'm off the edge of my chair waiting for an answer. I didn't even want, if they did say no, I just wanted feedback.
Right.
Why? Why? Maybe because I was young, maybe because I was too old. It's just something that I wanted to know. And when they told me, the phone dropped and I went straight to my neighbor and I was like, I got the job.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you were, maybe because you were young or old. Glenn said he wasn't convinced that you weren't 20, so he's like, bring her in here.
I know, because everybody says I'm an old soul, and I'm very I just love people. I love to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I think that, with me and Glenn, we always had that sort of bond where we always used to talk about, deep thoughts. And we all just used to talk, and he'd always go to me, you're 37, right? And James always used to say, she's been intruded. It's official that she's intruded.
That was Will's prediction.
That was my theory about you, because they say how Mozart is. Well, why do you think Mozart could write music when he was 4? Well, the same thing with you. Clearly, there's something else going on.
Maybe you are Ronald Reagan.
It's
possible.
I don't think I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my favorite prediction so far.
All right, guys, we have a lot to get through. So,
Yeah, well, Ronald was an actor, by the way.
so okay, so
Sorry. Keep moving.
real on topic. So we have the Cranfield burial ceremony, and Jack is watching, and he's putting together the pieces, and he's having all these flashbacks, and they're just now burying Cranfield too, which is, hasn't it been a while?
I don't think it's been as long as we think.
It's just
This is
been
episode 4?
Yeah, maybe it's
Yeah.
It's been 4 episodes, but I think in the timeline of the show, it's only been maybe
A couple
2
days.
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
Maybe a week, maybe.
This episode, remember, this is the
still in the same day as
the
the
last
last
episode.
episode.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
This
much
is-
happens in Seattle.
This is still Todd Crane's very bad, horrible, no good day.
Yeah.
This is the same day.
But also, we see Cranfield now has a trigger himself, too.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see what it was.
though?
But
It
didn't
was so small.
But he had it when back at his house.
Yeah, at the
Yeah.
house. But that we know why Richard was there, because we see, not to jump too far ahead, but before they get buried, they have to look at the trigger that's going to bring them back.
Yeah.
So, will Cranfield be back?
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, you would think so.
Remember, everybody eventually
Yeah,
comes back.
well, there
They
is
always
no end.
come back.
Yes. Jack sets fire to all the books after putting all these pieces together. He's like, I've had enough of this.
Nope.
Again, not really thinking maybe ahead on all the, just like immediately going with, I'm gonna mess things up whatever way possible.
Well, I don't know that he wasn't thinking ahead. He like made this plea to Amy, which was, I'm burning this to the ground and I am taking you home with me. Enough of this. This is enough cult nonsense.
Yeah. Which is why at that point I still don't think he was a complete believer on about all this. I think he was still in denial, because when he does get to Amy / Rose, he's like come with me, and it's like, no, I'm not.
I'm not Amy.
Yeah.
Don't you understand?
Yeah, how many times do I have to tell you this?
Right.
I think he's
Yeah.
a believer that it's a thing, but I don't think he's a believer in that Amy's completely gone.
Neither am I.
Well, neither
Neither
am
am
I.
I.
Neither mind.
Yeah.
Good. So then we're all on the same page. So we're on Team Jack then. So earlier Rose had called for Richard, and Marcus / Madison comes in, and there's all this commotion. I guess Marcus. We'll just keep saying Marcus.
Yeah, this is all
Yeah.
Marcus at this point.
So Marcus runs in and goes to stab Rose,
Yeah.
and Jack calls out, look out, and Rose says, shoot, that's Marcus, shoot him now. And there's Richard, and
Richard still can't shoot her.
He can't. He can't shoot me. He just can't. He just like, and he's like, I can't do it.
Why is that? Why can't he shoot you?
Because I think he knows deep inside that, like, that Madison is still there.
Yeah.
Somewhere inside of her body, she's still there. And I think that Marcus has intruded me and all that. But he knows all, because he's a shepherd. But I think that he knows deeply that he can't, because then, he met her parents. And I think that he just knows that he can't do it because it's still a 9-year-old girl, if you think of it. So
he gave that great speech the episode before about how he wants to be a good guy too. So I guess there's always that part of him inside that can't. Like you said, he knows that she's still there.
yeah.
Well, he's conflicted because he knows that Marcus is evil, but Madison hasn't really done anything to deserve death. And if there's a way to save her, what?
No.
No, it sounds like you had like a really big aha moment.
revelation.
No, it wasn't that big of a.
Well, let's hear it.
No. I was just going to make another point when you were done making your point.
I'm done. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I apologize. No, because also, do you think he knows, right, that Rose, in the back of his mind, he also knows that Rose has some other people there to take him out. I don't think he thinks he's getting out of there without a fight, too.
Yeah.
So, I guess even in that sense, it's like, well, you got Marcus here who wants to kill Rose, and Rose wants to kill me, and maybe I should let this play out a little bit more.
But also goes with the same theory that if he can't kill Madison because he knows a little girl is still in the body, he can't kill Rose either because he knows Amy's still there, and he's so in love with Amy.
He can't do anything. He's just gonna have to let the
Let it
cards
ride.
Anna.
fall with him.
But later he says that shepherds don't kill anybody; they just take them out of the game for a while. They
But
just move the
that's only
sidelines.
that's only
whole
because nobody dies.
Different mentality in how they approach every situation. I mean, they don't see just the morality sense that they don't see it as wrong. They just see it, no, it's for the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, if I was Richard, I wouldn't want to get shot. I wouldn't want to get killed,
Yeah.
Even if I know I'm coming back, I'd like to hold on
No,
to
but
this.
I don't know if shepherds do come back.
Well, yeah, we still have a lot to learn about the whole shepherding process.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I was like, have we really seen any shepherds get killed?
Is Frank
Yeah,
a shepherd?
Frank
Fra-
shepherd.
Yeah,
Frank.
Frank's a shepherd.
Frank, but the shepherd killed the shepherd.
Yeah, so we don't know what.
Yeah.
It's like Inception.
Shepherds be intruded.
Yeah, a shepherd inside of a shepherd.
Well, I have some thoughts and predictions for later.
Well, you
I
say
have so
that.
many
You
predictions.
always say that. I watch every one, and you go, I have
loves
some
you.
predictions.
It's always advertising.
Yeah,
It's like
So-
the biggest fan here.
I'm
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
For
It's
watching.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's got your
it.
back, man.
That's our version of stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Keep watching.
So ultimately, everybody makes it out of the basement, unshot,
Unburned.
Unscathed.
not stabbed, and
Sliced.
not
Slice though, slash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rose was slashed.
but not
She
in
was
a
okay.
not in
Yeah.
a fatal
She's
sort of way.
No.
Yeah.
And not completely burned to death. So that
Yeah.
that was a good thing, and everybody sort of comes out at the same time. Then Allison recognizes Madison and starts yelling, "Madison, Madison!" And I feel like Allison was maybe a trigger for Madison.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We saw
Yeah,
that
most
before
definitely.
when she calls her at somebody's house. Leon.
Larry.
Larry. Sorry, thank you very much.
It's okay.
Yeah, like so many names, but yeah, like when she's speaking on the phone at Larry's house, like the voice kind of brings her back and anything like from home.
Well, also, sorry.
No, go for
on.
it.
I was when I think it's I don't know what episode it is, but I'm in the library and I look at the Allison and the crane, and that's what triggers me as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And when I'm in the cafe and I write Allison and 503 that calls my mum, I think that's what triggers me as well. But I just never get to see her, so it's like, oh, that's Allison, but I never get to see her. But I think this is when she calls my name. It's just more like, oh my god, I see her now.
I think it's something about like you were saying, the more visual aspect that helps trigger back, because we see, when the shepherds are putting up the trigger, they have to actually look at it, and that even explains the opening shot of the opening title sequence with the eyes. Like they have to physically look at the trigger, and then when Madison sees her mother, visually sees her mother, that's what brings her back. Rather than an auditory cue.
It's an excellent point, but it doesn't explain the sound machine, the ghost machine, and the sound vibrations. It still has to come into play somehow.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, that does.
Stay tuned for season 2.
Yeah. So then there's also a lot of stuff that happens at once. That there's another shooting. Almost, I don't know. Jack comes out and Shepard actually shoots this time.
Yeah, he finally realized he's got to try to take you out.
In rehearsal, it was actually very funny because there was the car and all that, and John over the other side to Mira, he was like, "I will never leave you," and Mira was like this, and John was like this, and it was just, and I'm on the floor like, okay, just say cut now. I have to fix my hair now, so
So we'll talk.
yeah, so
That must have been a fun rehearsal.
it was.
So then what? Okay, so then the scene made me cry. The scene between you and real Marcus Fox, you and Alex. I just felt like that was so deep and powerful, and I feel like I've been talking a lot, guys. Does anyone want to jump in?
I particularly love the scene because it's really Madison herself now and Marcus, completely separate beings. Because the only time we really saw Madison before she was like officially taken over by Marcus, it was probably the first episode.
Yeah.
And even then, we only got like half of Madison.
Yeah.
But this is like fully Madison, two separate beings.
And it had to be interesting, I'd imagine. Now you've been playing Marcus, and now you're confronting the person you've been playing for 8 episodes. That had to have been kind of a trip.
Yeah, I mean, Glenn directed it, and when he done it, he was just like, Millie, you have to say, like, I feel bad for you, and really, like, tell him now you're fighting back, and, throughout the whole series, you're like, who's gonna win, and, then Marcus wins, and then Madison wins, and then it's at the end. But, I mean, I think it was so great, like, doing that scene, because I've done a couple of scenes with no, I haven't done any scenes with Marcus, but with that scene, I was like, oh my goodness, I've got a scene with you. And I think that we had to make it as powerful as possible because it's the only scene that we're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
And it felt like there was a little bit of, when you were really giving it to him, when you were saying that to him, there was a little bit of, like you picked up a little bit of Marcus yourself.
Yeah.
Madison's got a little bit of Marcus,
Yeah.
and now that like, no, I've had enough of this.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Well,
what-
she's a tough girl. She's been through a lot. And she,
I mean,
she's
her parents is going through a divorce.
Yeah,
It's just,
it's a lot.
Yeah.
But Marcus said that too. Like she's really strong. Like she just won't go down, and like we just see that she's still fighting there.
and still in Todd Crane's office when she's like, this kid inside of me, it won't go down quietly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what.
Yeah, I really like that theme too. Like the love is stronger than, I guess, I don't know, evil or something. That's exactly what it's stronger
Yeah.
than.
Well-
But it's stronger than Marcus's will, basically.
There were two things that I thought were well, one thing that I loved about it was that we had a question answered finally that we've had pretty much all season, which was, well, what happens if they're like, can one soul do it? Is there always two souls? You know, and so finally that question was answered. It's at the time of death when one soul can take over, and
Right.
So okay,
is why
so
not-
we have that answer. Okay,
Yeah, which is why I guess not Donna kills herself or whatever.
right.
Yeah.
not Donna.
And then the other thing that, you know, for such a complicated show, and we've had so many theories and ideas and just, you know, what's happening, that there was such a simple explanation or just a simple message when Madison says, you know, you've lived hundreds of lives and you still don't understand that there's nothing stronger than a kid's
Wanting to be with their mom and dad.
yeah. I mean, that's just like so
My
simple
God, I
and
just don't have an
beautiful.
American accent. I was like, I'm so used to it. It's just like,
That's great. Though.
Yeah, I just thought that was like, well, yeah.
That
Yeah.
is a strong connection, though.
It is. It is. I can't imagine something more. As it is, it makes sense. There's nothing more powerful, and I like that so many of these characters. So much of what they've done have been ruled by their emotions, and rightfully so. What Rose is doing, trying to get fix. What Jack's fits of rage. It's all this emotional stuff, and like you said, it's a very complicated show, but it's heart. It's really character driven. It's really just about these people.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
in a scene like
and
that.
the QR. So.
Yeah, and this scene really showed that.
Yeah, really, really powerful. So let's move to the hospital. Jack is a disaster.
Oh, the poor guy.
He's been through a
I
lot.
mean, and even at this moment, he's now kind of fully accepting that
Yeah.
she's not my wife.
Yeah.
That Amy is gone.
But he still doesn't want to give it all to Detective Blanchard.
Well, is that also because, I mean, even though he believes it now, you sound like a crazy person when you give it all to the authorities. Like, you gotta keep some of that to yourself, or maybe you want to do your own.
Maybe he's covering up for his wife. I mean,
Yeah.
he still knows. He's kind of like a shepherd. I mean, he still knows that there's Amy inside of her, but you know, she's long gone.
Yeah, let her get away, but kind of try to move on from the idea of having like a life with her.
Right.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, but now I feel, you know, Detective Blanchard has been sort of, you know, I felt had come around to Jack, and now he's back to not trusting him again, or questioning him again, and, you know, what's the deal? Why is your friend like this? What's all this information? Why is your wife involved in this? Are you involved in this? And
It's
so
a pretty reasonable assumption. He's kind of always near, like, where bad things happen.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
He's
totally
a bit desperate for the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like the audience is desperate for answers,
Yes.
but he in the show is desperate for answers.
Yeah.
He wants to know what all of this is all about.
he really wants to find Marcus Fox too. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
And also, Jack actually had a conversation with Marcus, so that's just another thing
Yeah.
that he's trying to get answers for. Like, he actually had a confrontation with Marcus.
Now the book. Was that also strapped to Gary, or
I assumed as much.
Everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
where did Gary get the book from? from Bill Anderson or
No.
Cranfield? Where did he get it?
Oh my God! I feel like I remember him getting one and having one, but that was that was like 4 weeks ago.
He has all the information about about Queer Reverti. So you know, he knows that Donna and stuff. I think and Donna left the card and some and stuff like that. So I think that he got all of that information and grasped it up and just let it go.
Yeah. He's accumulated a lot of information and pictures over the years. So yeah.
All right. Well, then Jack wants to go see Madison, and he does. He gets to talk to her, and I think is really relieved to see that she's okay, but kind of like, well, how do you know?
Yeah, wants to make sure he's gone.
Are you sure?
Yeah. And
but it's nice to see Madison actually being Madison with her parents. They're reunited.
Well, the last moment we see is Madison smiling and laughing with her family. Although, I still wonder if deep in the subconscious there's still a part of Marcus somewhere to come out.
Stay tuned.
I gotta think he's actually gone. He said that no one returns from that place, and he was gonna leave Madison there. So I gotta think he's not there. Which, by the way, a good prediction for me. I told you Marcus was leaving. Wouldn't believe they'd kill a 9-year-old girl. That would have been too weird. But I thought he had to go.
Well, I still have a lot of questions about how the souls that are returning choose or are the bodies are chosen for the souls that are returning, and I feel like, is Madison more vulnerable for another soul that returns, even if it's not Marcus Fox?
I would think she'd be less vulnerable. She's already fought a
She's
really
hardened.
tough soul.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question, because we don't know necessarily, I guess, the future of what's going to happen in season 2, where your storyline kind of wraps up in a nice way. If this was it for Madison, are you pretty satisfied with it, or do you think we'll get more Madison?
Listen, I mean, season 1 was amazing, and future references, if there is a season 2 and I'm not in it, I am satisfied with the ending. I think that it's a nice ending, it's a happy ending, and the audience would be happy about that, because I think it was a good ending. But, if I am, I'd be, happy about it. But, it's just, fingers crossed.
Whatever happens.
That can't be the end. That cannot be the end, because she wanted to talk to Jack more. I know she did.
Which is why I still think there's going to be... I feel like if you are back in season 2, then there's going to be some Marcus resurfacing somewhere.
Right. And the fact that Jack just got into that interrogation mode, that police cop mentality that he has, he wanted to ask more, and then the mom cut him off. So there are more questions there, for sure.
For sure. So then he leaves and has a run-in with another little kid.
I love that scene. I think it's the best scene ever. I mean, it's so good.
So
and
good.
the guy that played it was so good. I mean, he was like, go la la da 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 da. And I was like,
It's a direct translation.
that is called acting. I was like, that was so good.
It was, because when he first called him over, I don't know, I just thought that Jack's a good guy and this sick kid can tell that he's a good guy. I don't know, but because when he first called him over, he was like, hey, sort of like meekly, hey.
Can you come over here?
Yeah. Ooh.
I don't know.
The
hey was nice. The come here was creepy, I think.
I think, come here.
Anytime a sick kid is like sneering at you, telling you to come here, it's going to get a little...
Was he sneering?
I don't know. I knew it was going to be no good. Maybe I projected a sneer.
And then it was a flashback about the guy that he shot, which was just like creepy. But I mean, it's psycho. It's just gets to me.
That's a whole nother story. We haven't really wrapped that storyline up.
Those guys.
Those are different questions.
Like a cliffhanger.
Are they part of the Queer Reverti, or is it completely different types of storyline that's going on?
And was he on the job when he shot those people or not? Like, what is it? We need to know the rest of that story.
He was drinking.
He's
an alcoholic, though.
He was sitting in the hotel room forever, waiting for those guys to walk through the door.
Yeah, he wasn't. This was off the books.
Off the books police work. Yeah. So we need to find out the rest. I'm sorry?
He was off duty.
Okay. Yeah.
It's
But
like I have to do my job.
but we still need to know the rest of that story.
Yeah.
Which is
So-
why we need a season 2.
Come on, season 2 intruders. We
Please,
have
Glenn.
a lot of questions
Please,
I need
Glenn, write
answering.
another
From the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, Glenn Morgan, even if it's just for us, can you just
Yeah,
do
send us the scripts here. We'll act them out here on AfterBuzz.
So we also have just a few things to talk about with Rose and Bix. We found out their backstory, or more about their backstory. Got to see Bix performing in 1931. Found out that he had, I mean, we knew that he was an alcoholic, but we saw that he had sort of, I don't know, maybe had detoxed himself or had been ill,
Tried.
and gotten himself
Clean.
better, and
Yeah.
not an uncommon story for many alcoholics.
Prohibition was going on at that time.
Yeah.
Right. And, you know, so this is the, and we also had questions about how did she shepherd him off.
Well, like you were saying about like the eye and the we got to see a really good example of that when she really puts the trumpet
Right in the people
mouthpiece.
you
mouthpiece
see it.
in his eye and makes him really look at it right at the moment of death.
Yeah. And so, and she, and her name was Rose then, and was her name always Rose in every lifetime? She used to work for a czar in Russia many years ago. Is there, I don't know, but it's a...
Well, you know what else I thought was interesting? Because we had talked a lot about how maybe Bix doesn't want to be with Rose. And I don't, after seeing that flashback, I don't think that's the case. I think Bix just has a problem with life. Like, Bix just isn't someone who wants to have any part of life in living. It's not necessarily about Rose. And
He doesn't want to be part of Queervati. I mean,
Yeah.
she did let him die, to be honest, and she just triggered him back. And I don't think that he wanted to, die like that. I didn't think he wanted to come back as the same person he was last time. I think he didn't even want to be part of anything that they was doing.
Or perhaps he was really drinking like that just to die. Like, he's just not interested in life at all.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But it did seem back at this time that they were in love because when he performed, he was like, "This is for you, Rose." So there was an actual relationship there. Rather being wanting to be part of the Queervati against his will.
I don't know. That was
time of death.
that's a line I used to
questionable.
use at shows all the time.
Of course.
Well, he does in present day. He takes off.
Yeah.
So she's. Rose is like, he's missing. Like, somebody's
took
taking
him.
him.
Richard's like, I think he took himself.
everybody's in a little bit denial about their relationships in this
Yeah.
show.
James, I think James, like, he also Shepard, he really loves Rose, and Rose, not Amy, Rose, and I think that when he's like, he left, what a bummer.
If only there was someone else around for you to be with. Yeah.
Wait, you think he really loves Rose and not Amy?
I mean, I just don't think he knows Amy. He didn't know Amy.
Maybe he's initially attracted to Rose, you think?
Maybe. He's a shepherd. His boss is Rose. So I mean,
It's got to be confusing.
Attracted to authority.
It's got to be confusing dating a member of the Reverte. Like, you don't know who you're getting.
Yeah.
Don't date your coworkers.
Yeah. It's hilarious. So Richard, speaking of Richard, also explains, or Rose had asked, why did you bring back Marcus Fox? And so Richard has an opportunity to explain that. He said, because I wanted to, and I guess you're right, because he said, I needed the money. I thought I'd be able to provide a life for you. I mean,
Yeah, and then he corrects himself real quick, like.
And she said, I don't know who that is. Did anybody else find that odd?
Oh, I didn't hear the line, I guess.
I don't know.
Amy, I don't know who that is.
No, you mean Rose saying about Amy?
Yeah.
well, that's what I say. Also, like when I go, that kid is gone, in the when I'm with Jack.
Okay,
So I think that maybe they don't want them to be there. They want to be who they are.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think that's just a reinforcing the line to the audience, like, Amy's gone. Get over her.
Yeah.
In a way, in a more nicer way, but like I don't know who Amy is. She's not here.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I can buy that.
Okay.
Back at home, Jack's back at home. He's got to clean up his life, you know.
Yeah.
His house is a disaster.
Yeah, I don't remember it getting that destroyed, but I guess.
Well, he ransacked his own house.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, we saw in
That's
the episode
true.
he just
Yeah.
throwing things around.
Has anybody ever had one really terribly heavy night of drinking, like, and their house gets a little destroyed? I mean,
Millie?
he's been going
Yeah.
for.
You know,
wanna answer that one?
you know, it's hard. It's tough.
Yeah.
You know, it's just tough being 37 right now. It's just.
Yeah.
So he calls Gary's wife though, and
Yeah, that was sweet.
yeah.
There was a moment before that I really loved also when he picks up the little Eiffel Tower.
Oh, that's gonna come back into play.
Yeah,
That's a
because I
prediction.
feel like, that's a
Yeah.
that's
That's
what
a
I'm
trigger.
saying. That's for
100%.
Amy
Yeah,
to try to get Amy back.
100%.
That's what
yeah.
I put. Eiffel Tower trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amy picked Amy's personal trigger.
nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe that's what triggers Amy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jack triggered Amy.
Yeah.
So we're thinking.
And if he's a shepherd now, yes.
And
Is
that's
he a shepherd or is he part of the 9? Because
a difference.
shepherds, well, shepherds work for the 9, but
Well, his business card said Jack Shepherd.
what's a Jack? Well, yeah, I guess so. Okay, there's that. Never mind.
It's
Prove
kind
me
of
right.
like
It was just because, like, Shepherd said to him, like, "Why do you think we never killed you?" Because basically, like, you're one of us, or you could be one of us, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, so he doesn't have a choice in the matter, though. And I feel like he does not have a choice in the matter because I feel he's, this is just my opinion, that he's indebted to them now because of all the destruction he caused. You know?
Yeah, well, somebody's got to pay the bill.
Yeah, I mean, you owe us, you're going to work for us now. And maybe that's how all shepherds end up in the mix because they somehow
Found
somebody
themselves in
something.
a mess. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So that's everything for this season.
Man.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot.
thank
Before we get into predictions, Millie, do you have any final thoughts about your experience? And
I mean, it was a great experience. It was memorable. And, you know, working with these amazing actors and working with the amazing crew, I think that, you know, I enjoyed it. And if there is a season 2, there is. And, you know, I enjoyed that moment. And I always carry that through my career. I will always remember being a man.
For playing
put
such
it.
a complicated characters, you know, 2 different people, what was your most challenging scene throughout any of these episodes?
I guess it's very hard because I mean, my victims, like me, you know, having conversations with my victims. I guess that wasn't challenging. Maybe talking to Todd Green was a bit, and I think my most memorable and challenging scenes was on the lake.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
With Marcus. I think that was so challenging, and I loved the way it was so powerful, and you know, it was just looking at him, and he was over there and I was over here, and it was just like looking at each other and having a conversation and confrontation actually, because you know, we wasn't shouting or anything, we were just talking to each other. Yeah.
And early in the morning too.
And early in the morning.
That was the real most challenging.
I mean,
part,
it was
let's
just
be
like,
honest.
I want to sleep. I want to sleep.
Now, working with such seasoned actors, what was some of the best advice that they gave you?
I think John and James were very, very, like, they always, you know, gave me tips and advice, and Mira is just outstanding.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And James is all of them. I can't even describe any of them because they're so great, and I mean, they all gave me advice, you know, more to the scenes, and you know, just not, you know, because James always said, you know, stay grounded, don't let anything of this get to you, and I always, you know, obviously will be grounded because my brother gives me a headlock all the time. No, I'm not joking. It hurts.
Oh, wow.
Brothers.
Yeah.
Leave her alone, man.
I know what that's like.
Yeah, so working with them was great.
Well, and now you're one of them too. I mean, you're just so talented, and we're just such huge fans, and
Thank you.
and in history now forever
Yeah.
on screen. So very cool, very cool.
And also the @RealMillie Twitter account. It's not real. I deserve those followers, guys.
Yeah, you do.
No, I'm joking.
Well,
No.
maybe you could
What
tell
is
us
your
your Twitter and people
Yeah.
will follow you.
I don't have a Twitter actually, but I have an Instagram fan page. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Nice.
And what is that? Where can we?
Oh no. It's Millie something. No, it's Millie B Brown. Try that, Millie B
Okay.
Brown.
All right.
If that doesn't work, just
If not, we'll tweet it out when we
Noted.
find it.
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry, everybody. We've been tweeting out real Millie all week.
Yeah.
It
okay.
said
I'm just
real. It said
Yeah.
real.
at real Millie. I mean,
Maybe that person was intruded.
Do you know
Who
what?
knows?
Do you know what gave it? Do you know where I went wrong? Is that Mira Sorvino follows that account?
Yeah.
And
Well,
so,
I mean, we told the BBC. I think that people, at real Millie, is just it. It kind of triggers you to say like, oh my God, it's a real Millie.
Yeah.
It's
real
so-
Will Link.
I'm the real Will Link. So there you go.
There you go.
Let's get into
Are
some
you?
predictions, guys.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Go nuts, Will.
Okay, well, first prediction: there will be a season 2. That is my first.
Very good.
But secondly, season 2, I think all these questions we have about the shepherds and how they do it is all going to be answered because they're going to have to be training Jack, and we're going to get to see all of this through his eyes anew. And I think a lot of season 2 is going to be this uneasy kind of relationship between Richard and Jack, where they're almost like partners now in crime. They have to go around and shepherd people, all the while both of them vying for the same woman, and they both know this. And I think that there's going to be a lot of undercurrent with that. Meanwhile, that woman's looking for Bix, so it's going to be a love triangle. It's really going to be genuine, and it's all going to boil down to love.
It's gonna be a love square.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Guess I don't know how I can predict anything better than that. Gary will be back and played by me. No? No, I predict that Jack's working for them, obviously, and that Blanchard's going to be back, still hot on the trail for Marcus Fox, and maybe he's going to uncover who the actual 9 are.
By the way, Blanchard, who is played by Daryl Shuttleworth, likes to refer to himself as asshat. I learned yesterday on the Twitter and calls John Sim doofus. So just, inside information is what we like to do
That's
for you here at AfterBuzz TV.
There you go. I think the place where Madison and Marcus had their one-off on each other, I think that's like the medium place where I think other souls who might be dying would meet there, and I think Marcus will come back and take someone else at that moment, and that's not the last we've seen in that location.
Sure.
And also, Jack being a shepherd, I think Jack is going to kill Rose right now and bring back Amy with the Eiffel Tower trigger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I gave away all of my predictions while we were talking, so I really don't have anything at all. So anyway, Millie, do you have anything for us for season 2 that you want to predict? Or
That you'll have a job next year?
yeah.
Oh, I like this music.
Yeah.
I'm feeling. I can't say that I have any predictions.
It's okay.
I can't say.
It's okay.
But I can say happy birthday, Mum.
Oh,
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mum.
So the people can find you on Instagram at Millie B Brown. Is that?
Yes. Probably. Probably.
Or they
Yeah.
can search and
They
figure it
can,
out.
They can figure it out themselves.
Okay. Will, where can the people find you?
People can find me at The Real Will Link. I also host a podcast, a pop culture podcast called Will Sean Podcast on the Westcast Network.
It's my favorite part.
Isaac.
You can find me on Twitter at Isaac Johnson, Instagram, The Isaac Johnson, and check out my YouTube page, also The Isaac Johnson.
And you
Yeah, she's all over
go
it.
for it. You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Serafini TV.
And you can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR. Thank you all so much for being with us all season long. Millie, thank you
Thank
so
you,
much for
Millie.
Yes,
coming
thank you,
in
Millie.
season today. And
Being
we
awesome
will
in the
see
show.
you next season, we hope.
Yes, please.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.